Hello everybody! Today we're going to be doing Hirozu Spring Control version 4. Now this one's a fun one because I've added a little pet animation as well as optimized it a little bit better, and I have made it to where if you pause the spring joint it won't move with your head anymore. So all you have to do is once you've downloaded the Unity package Hirozu Spring Control version 4, just go ahead and double click it. As long as you've got your avatar ready. Now I'm assuming that you've already known how to set up your avatar, having it in your scene as well as having the VRChat SDK and your shaders and everything. But assuming you've got everything ready to go, that's all you need to do. Just double click the Unity package, press import, wait for it to do its stuff. And then once you've done that, all you have to do is double click on Hirozu Spring Control, drag and drop the Hirozu Spring Control prefab asset into your scene and then onto your avatar. Make sure to right click on it and unpack the prefab completely. Next, I want you to expand your armature and expand it all the way until you get to your wrists or your fingers. So in this case, I'm going to go all the way to my index finger, as you can see here. So these are my index fingers. And then expand Hirozu Spring Control and drag the named one that's called left into your left hand or whatever you're doing. So I'm putting it in the index finger. Drag your right into your right, whatever. It can be your feet, it can be your hands. It really doesn't matter as long as you've got a left and a right. Finally, this new one compared to the Hirozu Spring Control version 3 is called Hero Neck Anim. What you need to do with this is drag and drop that onto your neck, as it's called Neck Anim. Next up, what you need to do is click on your avatar. On the right side, scroll down until it says parameters. Click on your parameters, and then click on the thing that glows yellow here. Add 2 more parameters. The first one must be a float and the second one change it to be an integer. Now the float must be called spring size. Make sure that both of the S's are capitalized. If you have this any more different, it will break. And as for the integer, just type spring. Make sure that it is spring with an S capitalized as well, otherwise it will break. Next up, when you've done that, click on your menu, which should also be on the right side just above your parameters. So if you click on your menu and see there, the one that goes yellow, add a new control and change the control to be whatever you want to name it. So I'm going to name this Hirozu Spring Control. Then change the type to be a sub-menu and go to my Hirozu Spring Control folder that you just imported and drag and drop the spring menu inside the folder into your sub menu. If you're having issues with trying to get to here because this part keeps closing, for example, if I click on assets and then double click on Hirozu Spring Control, this part just closes, which is very infuriating. A little nifty trick that you can do with this is, so let me get to my menu again, is just, you see this button here in the top right, click that, and now it's locked, so no matter what you do, you can get to your Hirozu Spring Control and you can just drag and drop that spring menu right into there. Don't forget to unlock it once you're done. Okay, next up, what you need to do is here, where it says gesture, you can put the default gesture and click it. Now it will say none, and what you can add here is go back to Hirozu Spring Control like usual, and drag and drop the gesture spring override into your gesture layers. If this is a problem because you already have something in your gesture layer, what you can do instead is click on your FX controller, and what you need to do is click on animator after clicking on your FX controller, and you'd have to copy paste every single one of my parameters and layers that I have in the spring gesture spring override in here. So you see if it says spring expansion, you copy this with just Control C, then you go over to your FX layer right here, and you have to make a new one. Call it, it doesn't really matter what it is, so I'll just say spring because I didn't really remember. Change the weight to 1 and just copy and paste. There you go. Now you have to do that for every single one of the animations, which is unfortunate, but that's the way you have to do it. So for example, something a little bit more complicated like this tree right here, you need to copy everything like usual. Control C, and then go to your FX layer, which is here. Add a new one. I don't remember this. I think it was called Spring Enabled. Honestly, it really doesn't matter what you name this as long as you have them, and make sure that the weight is 1. Click on the Spring Enable part here and just press Control V. Now here I've had an issue where the starting animation is actually on pet mode, which is incorrect. It needs to be spring disabled. And the way that you change that is just by right-clicking on spring disabled and set as layer default state. And there you go, it's fixed. Make sure you do that with every single one. I'm not going to go through that in this tutorial because I already have I don't have a gesture layer on this avatar, so all I need to do in this case is just to click on gesture and just drag and drop my gesture spring override into that little corner there, like so. Also, if you are merging your layers together in your FX, don't forget to go into your parameters and add the float and type in spring size, as well as adding your integer here and typing in spring. Once you are done merging the FX layers, make sure that the base layer of your FX layer does not look as messy as this, for example. So after dragging and dropping everything onto your avatar, what happened is all the animations went into the base layer, which is now a problem. And what you need to do is just highlight all of them and press delete. This would be fine if you notice that there's already a base layer, like for example this, and then after dragging and dropping everything onto your avatar, it looks something like this. This is fine because the base layer has already an animation, but I do prefer if you would delete all of these extra things anyway. Now you should be ready to go and ready to upload, but I'm pretty sure that you would have some issues. For example, the neck animations or the left and right won't connect to your hand when you're pointing, and the way to fix this is to go into Hirozu Spring Control, click on animations, and where it says pet mode, drag and drop that onto your avatar. So in this case, it would be my Wickerbeast No Dynamics. I just drag and drop that onto the avatar. Next, I would click on single spring and drag and drop all of these by just shift clicking all of them and drag and dropping them right on top of the avatar again. What will happen when you do this is that when you click on your animation part here, if you don't have this, what you need to do is click on window and then animation and then click animation and then you'll have it, or just press Control 6. What this will do is that you have all your animations here to see if they're working or not. So in my case, the ones that I most expect to be broken are the ones that you just added called like spring static, spring right idle or anything. The one that should be broken, which I'm assuming is, it says spring right idle right here. This might be in yellow. If this is in yellow for you, you'd have to listen to the rest of the tutorial basically. So the way to fix this is just to hit that record button on spring right idle, and then where it says right, click on right, this number, change it to 0, and you're done. Then move on to the next animation, which is spring left idle. Hit record, click on left, change this value to 0, and then move on to spring and right. Then press record, click on right, change this value to 0 and then to 1. This will fix it. Then go to spring and left, press record, change this to 0 and then to 1 again. Oops, sorry, I made a mistake here. I forgot to click on left, so this is left. There we go. Change this to 0 and then back to 1, and that will fix it. Then go to pet mode, where it says here. This one's a little bit more difficult. What you need to do is press record, click on left and press Control and click on right. And then where it says mass, change that to 0. And then finally what you have to do is click on add property, then your armature, and go all the way down until you get to your neck where you placed your hero neck animation. So that's hips, spine, chest, neck, and there it says hero anim. Expand it and expand it again where it says hero neck. Where it says rigid body, add the mass. So it says rigid body underneath hero neck and it says mass. Click the plus button and change this value here where it says 1E-07. Change that to just 1. And there you go. Now you have a little pet animation that should work for you. That should be everything that you need to get this working. So all you have to do now is just click on your VRChat SDK, show control panel, builder, build and publish for Windows, and it's fun and ready to go. There's a couple ways where you can customize your Hirozu Spring Control, and one of the ways is to move where the little balls are. So if you click on your armature and go all the way down to your left and right that you placed beforehand, you see here where it says Z axes, it should be a little blue line here. You just click on this and then the white square, click on that. And go to your avatar and you can change the location of the ball. So wherever you move the left and right, this will change where the ball is. So I already like it where it is, but if I want it to be, let's say, a little bit higher or maybe a little bit to the left or further away from me, I can just drag it to wherever I want and that will change the position for them. You can also change the mesh of the spring control, which makes it look different. For example, if I wanted it to be a little bunny instead of a ball or something, I would just click on the spring here, and what I would do is press Control and click on spring again and then spring again. So all these three underneath the Hirozu spring control in the armature. And where it says mesh, you can just drag and drop your mesh into here or click on the little circle right next to it and change your meshes as well. Don't forget to also do this to the throwing animation. So click on all of the throwing animations and scroll down to where it says renderer. And underneath renderer, it says here, mesh is a sphere. I would click on that little dot in the corner and change it to something else again. Or you can just drag and drop your little mesh into there. There is a little shader that I added on here that you can customize as well. So what you do is you go into your assets, then here's your spring control, then textures. And this spring texture right here, you're able to change to whatever you want. Honestly, you can have fun with it. I just put a little default thing that you can mess around with if you'd like to. But you can change it to, like, for example, at the moment I have it set to Poyomi. But you can change it to VRChat particles, or I mean, you can just change it to whatever you like and customize it in your own way. And I hope you have fun and see what you can do with this. I know this tutorial was a little bit quicker, but I felt like my other tutorials were a little slower, but please do support me. Go buy this package if you'd like to have fun with it. And I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.
Marshmallow? Oh, is this like based off of the, what?
Sorry?